The first thing I noticed when I woke up was the ceiling. It wasn't a ceiling any human hospital would have used. No cracked white panels, no flickering lights. Instead, a smooth dome of translucent crystal hovered above me, glowing faintly with shifting colors that reminded me of oil on water. It pulsed slowly, like it was breathing. The second thing I noticed was the pain. It wasn't sharp. It wasn't the kind of pain that makes you scream. It was deeper than that, an all-consuming pressure, as if every cell in my body had been soaked in ice and then set on fire at the same time. My limbs felt distant, disconnected. When I tried to move my fingers, nothing happened. I panicked, or I tried to. Even fear felt muted, like my emotions were being filtered through a thick wall of glass. A shadow moved into my field of vision. She leaned over me slowly, carefully, as if afraid a sudden motion might shatter me. Her skin shimmered with a pale lavender hue, smooth and unmarked. For delicate eyes, two where human eyes should be, two slightly higher on her temples, focused on my face with an intensity that made my chest tighten. She wore no uniform as I understood it, just a flowing wrap of translucent fabric that glowed softly at the edges. An alien, a real one. "You're awake," she said. Her voice wasn't spoken aloud at first. It bloomed inside my mind, gentle but heavy with emotion. "Please don't try to move." I swallowed, or at least I tried to. My throat felt dry, unresponsive, where my voice came out hoarse, barely a sound. "Where am I?" The alien nurse hesitated. I could see it in the slight tremor of her hands. "You are aboard the Karth Medical Ark," she said softly. "You were recovered from the surface of your planet after the orbital breach." Memories came rushing back. The sirens, the sky tearing open, the impossible shapes descending through the clouds, the invasion. I'd been a trauma medic in Chicago when the first alien craft appeared. I remembered dragging people from collapsed buildings, working through smoke and screams, refusing to stop even when the air itself felt wrong. And then the flash. Something had hit nearby, an energy surge. I remembered being thrown backward, the world going white. "You were badly injured," she continued. "We stabilized you as best we could." Her eyes flicked away from mine for just a moment. That's when I knew something was wrong. "How bad?" I asked. Silence stretched between us, thick and suffocating. She reached out and took my hand. Her skin was warm, warmer than a human's. And when her fingers wrapped around mine, they trembled. That scared me more than anything else. "Your species," she said carefully, "is far more fragile than our projections indicated." I forced a weak smile. "Yeah, we get that a lot." Her lower eyes glistened. I realized then that the shimmer wasn't a trick of the light. She was crying. "I'm called Celira," she said, her voice breaking inside my head. "I am a senior medical caretaker. I have treated thousands of species across 5 sectors. I have seen bodies torn apart by vacuum, by radiation, by gravity itself." Her grip tightened. "But humans aren't supposed to die like this." The words landed like a physical blow. "Die?" I echoed. She inhaled sharply, a sound that wavered like she was struggling to keep control. "Your cellular degradation is accelerating. The energy weapon that struck you destabilized your molecular cohesion. We can slow it, but we cannot reverse it." I stared at the glowing ceiling. Oddly, I wasn't angry, just tired. "How long?" I asked. She didn't answer immediately. Hours, she whispered. Perhaps less. A laugh escaped me, weak and cracked. Guess I won't be making it back to work tomorrow. Lyra let out a soft, broken sound that might have been a sob. She turned away briefly, pressing her hands together as if in prayer. I don't understand, she said. Your kind runs toward danger to save one another. You endure pain that would incapacitate most sentient beings, and yet your bodies fail you so easily at the end. Yeah, I said quietly. That's kind of our thing. She looked back at me, eyes wide. How can you accept this so calmly? I thought about the people I had treated, the ones who hadn't made it, the ones who had looked at me with fear in their eyes, searching for comfort I couldn't always give. Because I've seen worse, I said, and because I did what I could. Lyra lowered herself beside my bed. The surface beneath me hummed faintly, adjusting to my failing physiology. Above us, faint holographic symbols shifted, monitoring things I couldn't begin to understand. Your species was never meant to be conquered, she said suddenly. The High Command believed humans would surrender within days. I frowned. They miscalculated. Yes. Her eyes burned with quiet intensity. You resist even now. Civilians forming aid chains. Medical workers refusing evacuation. Soldiers shielding the wounded instead of retreating. She paused. You remind us of ourselves long ago. What happened to you? I asked. Lyra hesitated, then answered honestly. We survived by becoming something colder. She reached out again, brushing her fingers against my wrist where a faint glow marked some alien device trying desperately to keep my heart steady. And now, she said softly, I am holding the hand of a dying human who reminds me what we lost. The room trembled faintly. Distant vibrations rippled through the arc. What was that? I asked. Her expression darkened. Your people launched a counterstrike. They breached our perimeter defenses. I smiled, pride swelling in my chest despite the pain. That's good. No, she said, voice shaking. It is terrifying. She leaned closer. If High Command learns what we've done here, treating you, speaking to you, they will call it treason. Then why do it? I asked. Because, she said, tears slipping freely now, you matter. My vision began to blur at the edges. The ceiling's colors smeared together, losing definition. Lyra, I murmured, can I ask you something? Anything, she said instantly. Tell them. I whispered, tell them we're not monsters. We're just fragile. She pressed her forehead gently against my hand, a gesture that felt deeply intimate. I swear it, she said, by every star I've ever known. The pain faded, not all at once, but gradually like a tide pulling back. I felt light, almost warm. As my breathing slowed, Lyra's grip tightened, like she was trying to anchor me to existence itself. Humans burn so brightly, she whispered, and then you're gone. I wanted to tell her it was okay. I wanted to tell her that impermanence was what made it matter, but my voice wouldn't come. The last thing I felt was her tears falling onto my hand, warm, real, human in their own way. They recorded my death as Subject H-317, terminal failure. But Lyra refused to let that be the end of it. She filed a report that shook the ARC's command hierarchy to its core. Not a tactical analysis, not a medical summary. A story. She described human doctors shielding patients with their own bodies, civilians refusing alien evacuation to stay with the wounded, soldiers sharing rations with enemy captives. She described a dying human who joked about missing work while his molecules unraveled, and she ended the report with a single sentence: "If we continue this war, we will win the galaxy and lose our souls." The report spread, quietly at first, then uncontrollably. Other nurses added their own testimonies, engineers, even soldiers. The invasion slowed, then stopped. By the time humanity realized the skies were clearing, Lyra was standing alone in the medical bay, staring at an empty bed. She placed her hand where mine had been and whispered, through tears she no longer tried to hide, "Humans were never supposed to die like this. Which means," she said softly, "they were never meant to be our enemies." And